This building is called the Casino. Back in 1960s, when they built the John Hancock building right next door, just west of it, rumor has it that the city of Chicago, Mayor Daley, and developers wanted to build another high-rise here next to the Hancock. The people that own this building wouldn't go for it. This building is owned by some very wealthy people. It's called the Casino. And it's basically a meeting place for the very wealthy people in Chicago. And they had the power to overrule Mayor Daley and developers and builders. And the building has been an icon ever since. I'm kind of glad they didn't build another high-rise here, because if you look at the landscape around the Hancock, all you see is tall buildings. It's kind of nice to see something like this. And like I always say, Chicago is unique, where you have something like this next to our iconic John Hancock building, which was the tallest building in Chicago back in 1969. We're at the Chicago Hilton on Michigan Avenue and I believe 8th Street, right across the street from Grant Park. This hotel is one of Chicago's most interesting hotel stories I have to tell. This hotel was built by the Stevens family back in the 20s, the early 20s, mid-20s. They started building this hotel. This hotel cost in excess of $45 million to build by the Stevens family. By the late 20s, they were open. They were doing a phenomenal business. Everything was wonderful. But we all know that the Depression hit in 1929. And make a long story short, nobody was buying anything at the time. But the Stevens family owed a fortune on this property. So they actually ended up losing. The property was foreclosed on. The banks had it. They tried selling it. They had an appraiser come out and he appraised the property for somewhere in the vicinity of about $30 million. So right off the bat, they lost somewhere in the vicinity of about $15 million, the creditors did. But there was no buyers. It was the height of the Depression. No buyers for the property. The federal government ended up buying this property for $6 million. They turned it into a military barracks for pilots being trained for the military. Actually, the whole inside was the schooling and the lodging and everything else, but this hotel, when it originally opened in the 1920s, had over 3,000, I think it was like 32 or 3,300 rooms. And at that time, you didn't have a bathroom in each room. Well, this hotel had a bathroom in each room. So federal government did some massive overhauling, renovating, I don't care what you want to call it, but they had it as Army barracks, and they trained pilots to fly in World War II. In fact, George Bush Sr. had his military training to be a fighter bomber pilot for World War II here at the Stevens Hotel. They actually trained off a Navy pier. They would fly planes off a Navy pier and land on a ship in Lake Michigan. They claim there's 100 planes or more in Lake Michigan during that time. They missed the ship and they ended up in the lake. Well, the property after World War II went up for sale again. There was a real estate agent in Chicago that took over the whole thing and put the building up for sale. Conrad Hilton in New York told his friends he's going to Chicago. He jumped on the first train to Chicago, and he says, I'm not coming back until I buy the Stevens Hotel. Federal government's not in the business to make money, so they ended up selling the hotel. They wanted their $6 million back that they put up for it in the beginning. Real estate agent got $1.5 million in commission. The building sold for $7.5 million to Conrad Hilton. I want to say one thing. Thank God for Conrad Hilton, because he came in here and brought this hotel back to the stature that it is today, the grandeur it is today. On top of that, he even built condos on the roof. On the roof, there was like a 9-hole golf course originally. He built actually luxury villas, or whatever you want to call them, on the roof of this building. But thank God for things like this that happen in Chicago, Illinois, right across the street from Grant Park. We have the Hilton Hotel. It's kind of sad right now. We're out here during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this hotel, I cannot believe it, but this hotel, like a lot of the other hotels we went and filmed, is closed because of the pandemic. For Chicago History, I'm Richie Z. I want to thank Tim Alway for coming out and filming with us. We're bringing you a part of Chicago history when you're closed in and hibernating because of the pandemic.
Pictures via Chicago Grand Hotels, Arcadia Publishing. Host Richie Z. Camera Tim Alway. Edit Zoe Lloyd. Tour Chicago with Richie Z. Personal and private tours, 2 people, 4 people, or 6 people. A tour of Chicago you'll never forget. Chicago is our inspiration. The Mag Mile, Museum Campus, Historic Chicago, Theater District, Millennium Park, Water Tower, Art Institute, and so much more. Call Richie Z at 312-841-2560. Our website is at www.richiezie.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Richie Z. GoFundMe page. Very important that we get funding for projects like this. We also do historic presentations of Chicago on Zoom. So tune in at richieZ.com.